Hello my beautiful tulips, I hope you guys are all having a fantastic week. In today's video, I will be doing a speed build on my island soft glow. You guys did vote that you guys wanted a speed build on soft glow. If you're not following me on Instagram, definitely go do that. I do ask you guys frequently what type of videos you guys would like to see or which island would you guys like to see. I do want to mention two things. I am sick, so I do sound a bit crusty, so sorry about that. And also this build is going to be in parts. I'm not sure right now if I'm going to be doing it in 1 or maybe 3 parts. I'm not sure right now just because I am working with a big area, and of course I cannot fit it all in one video because that would be like an hour build. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started. Also, if you are new to this channel, welcome to my channel. My name is Ash. I try to post 1 to 2 times a week, but if you're not subscribed and you're watching, go ahead and hit that red button. I think it's red. And subscribe to join our little community. I would really appreciate it. But anyways, let's go ahead and get started. So recently I've been doing shorter speed builds. Usually I would make a speed build and it would be maybe like 15 to 20 minutes, and recently I've been doing videos that are like 9 minutes, 10 minutes, and I wanted to hear your reviews, like your feedback, not your reviews, your feedback on that. And a couple people liked the shorter speed builds just because it fits their time crunch, and other people liked longer speed builds. And I will try to go back and forth on doing short videos and long videos. Some of us learn differently, so I do want to add that in my channel. I do want to do shorter videos and longer videos for you because we all like learn differently. And me personally, when I watch a speed build, I like it to be shorter just to get to the point, but not everyone's like that. So I definitely want to incorporate different types of videos in my channel and not just have one specific. I will also try to add a playlist for my longer speed builds and for my shorter speed builds. I also want to mention that if you hear me drinking water, it's because my throat is really dry and it just helps me. But anyways, I also noticed that when I was doing my speed build videos, I wasn't really giving enough tips or kind of an explanation on what I was doing. I was just kind of showing you guys the items that I was using or just telling you guys what items I was using. And I just want to add more details into my videos. I want to explain to you a little bit of what I am doing and more tips. But here I'm just adding some cliffs, just a cliff behind Felicity's yard because I do want to add some trees, some waterscaping behind her house later on. I also recently posted a video of my very first interior with the 2.0 items. If you guys would like to go ahead and definitely check that out. I really liked how it turned out and it just gave me the vibes. But yeah, if you guys would like to go ahead and check that out. I do want to mention that I did struggle with this build just because when I work with big builds, I feel like I get really overwhelmed quickly and there's just so much space that I just don't know what to put. My builds are never planned. I never sketch them. I never write down an idea. It just comes off the top of my head. The only ever build that I ever kind of planned, well, I wouldn't consider it planned, because I did take off inspiration from Holly from Treetop, was my very first video on soft glow, which was giving my resident service a transformation. That was the only build that I wouldn't consider it planned, but like inspired by. One of the tips for large builds that I would give is if you don't know where to start with your path. You'll see how much space you're working with, and it's just helpful, and that just helps me like get less overwhelmed just because I get really overwhelmed with big builds. So I do want to add a sitting area over here, so I am going to go ahead and go in with this red code, and then I'm going to go ahead and use this new custom code that I just got from the lovely Misty Cove Isle on Instagram. If you guys would like to go ahead and definitely check that out for yourself as well. I will also link her Instagram down below if you guys would like to check this custom path out as well. So now I'm going to go ahead and just choose a chair, and I believe it's called a hanging vine chair, and I just absolutely love this chair. It just breaks down all the colorfulness around it. I do recommend it. It's really pretty and it's one of the new items as well. So here, like I mentioned earlier, I'm just adding my path just to get an idea of how much area I'm going to be working with. I feel like this is one of my favorite parts of putting my path down, is just putting the last path code down. It just reminds me that I'm almost close to finishing. I'm just kidding, I'm not, but it just gives me some inspiration and just gives me an idea of what I'm going to be designing around it. Felicity's house is kind of in an awkward area. It's kind of big, and then I don't know, I just feel like it's kind of awkward, so I really struggled with adding items. I just try to place a lot of items and see what kind of items would work with that. So here you'll just see me adding a bunch of items to see what works with what. So a tip that I always give you guys is never work on just one area. You will get burned out quickly, and I just personally like to work around the area that I'm working on. I like to go to different areas and just put plants, put trees, and just get an idea overall of what I want to add. So yeah, that's one of the tips that I usually give, is do not work on just one area, work around the area as well. So now I'm going to go ahead and add this windmill and add this flower, and I don't want to add a exaggerating path on Felicity's front area, so I'm just going to go in with this wooden planks, and it just looks really good and it just doesn't look exaggerating. Because I don't know what I want to do with Felicity's yard yet, I am just going to come back and work on this area instead, and I'm just going to go ahead and use one of these snack breads, but I just didn't like it, so I ended up using these cookies instead, and they just look beautiful and they match the rug so well. So I'm just going to go ahead and use those instead. And I'm gonna go ahead and use this vase. I just feel like this vase was pretty big for the rug and all of the items that were there, so I'm just gonna go ahead and add it behind. And I just absolutely love how this area is looking. It's looking colorful but natural. I just absolutely love this type of vibe. For Felicity's yard, I honestly had no clue on what to do. I'm going to add a lot of furniture and then end up taking it all off. I'm just gonna go through phases with this area just because I absolutely have no idea what I want to add. I'm just kind of running around and seeing what items could potentially be good for this area. One of the tips that I would give is when you want to make an area look full or big, I like to personally add windmills, trees, things that just make this area have the illusion of being bigger. And I just like to use trees like I mentioned. Windmills are really good, wind turbines, I believe it's called a pergola. Those type of items are really good to make areas look tall. So I'm going to go ahead and this is what I was talking about. I'm not going to end up keeping this area like this. I'm eventually just going to take off that couch and then add a different item. And then you see me just coming over back and forth because I do want to get ideas for the other side of Felicity's yard. So now I'm just playing with different type of furniture items to see what I could potentially put up here. Another tip that I would give is if you are unsure of an item or an area, pull out your camera and just look at the area and see if there's anything missing. I also like to go to cliffs and see the overview of that area to see if I'm missing anything or anything I can add. I feel like Felicity's yard was probably one of the hardest to decorate. I honestly don't know why. I just feel like I was working with such a large area and it was just pretty overwhelming overall, and it was just hard for me to get ideas in my head. But anyways, here I'm just adding these cliffs to make a little waterfall. So like I mentioned earlier, I did want to incorporate some waterscaping. I just wasn't sure if it was going to let me add a bridge up here, but I ended up cutting these cliffs down a little bit just so I can fit more waterscaping and to add my bridge. I was honestly really happy because I really wanted to add a bridge up here, and I ended up adding a bridge, which I'm really excited about. So now that I have kind of more of an idea of what I want to do with this area, I'm just going to start adding a couple more decorations, and I just start feeling less overwhelmed now just because I kind of have an idea of what I want to do with this area. So now I'm going to go ahead and add this path down. I do want to add some flowers on top of this path. And then I also will be fixing a lot of the items here just because I feel like I use these items a lot and I just want to have a different type of item. So I just changed it. Instead of the butterfly model, I'm going to be using this, I think it's a rabbit bunny. Felicity was just getting in the way and I just had to push her consistently, so I was just like struggling to decorate this area. So what I ended up doing is just putting a fencing piece to block her off, but I ended up liking how it looked, so I just left it there. It was annoying. I kept trying to put furniture down and she just kept running over here, so curious. So I started seeing improvements and I was just getting really happy to finish this build. Everything just looks so pretty, so colorful and natural at the same time. I just felt cozy and that was the vibe I was going for, and this area just looks so cozy as well. I just love the blue color that is popping out from this area. So I sat in this couch and I just felt like it wasn't vibing with this area, so instead I went with this greenhouse, and this just literally completed the look. It looked really pretty and it just looked natural as well, and this was the type of item that I was looking for, and I didn't know how to use it, but I ended up swapping it off for the couch and it just works so well. So like I mentioned earlier, I was pretty happy with this area, but I just felt like something was missing, so I ended up adding this fencing and tried to add some flowers, and I just felt like something was still missing. So what I did, instead of cluttering this area, I ended up extending my path. So now that I'm basically done with the other side of Felicity's yard, I'm just gonna go ahead and start working on this side of the yard. I'm just gonna go ahead and start adding the final touches to this side, and I honestly am just really excited to see the final product. Everything just looks so neat and pretty. I'm gonna go ahead and add this sign initiating that there is a house over here, and I don't know if you noticed, but Felicity is actually stuck over there where I left her, and for some reason I keep trying to call her Facility. So instead of expanding the original path, I'm gonna go ahead and use this garden path, and I just absolutely love how this garden path looks, and it just looks really elegant and it just looks really good on a garden. So now I'm gonna go ahead and add a filler over here, and I'm just gonna go in with this mush item. Anyways, I do hope you guys enjoyed this first part of the speed build of Felicity's yard. I was going to show the final area, but instead I was like, no, I'm not going to show it because I don't know if I'm going to keep all the items there, so I don't want to show you and then later on change it. So I'm going to go ahead and show the results, whether I post a second part or a third part. Hopefully it doesn't have to come down to a third part. I am recording the second part right now, but I do not know when I'm going to post it. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing. I do have a goal of 600 subscribers by the end of the year. If not, that's totally okay. But thank you guys, and I hope you guys have a fantastic week. Bye!